I'm gonna cut it shorter. It's all good.
All right.
Sorry.
So how was everybody's Easter?
It was good, man. I had a great time.
Good, man.
Watched basketball. Went to church. Spent time with the family. It was good. How about you, Paul? How was your Easter, man? Out there in Hollywood.
It was good, man. It was good. Like I was saying, we went to Joshua Tree on Saturday, and we were out in the desert checking out some wild scenery, my girl and I. And then so yesterday we kind of just took it easy, and we got into that new series. I say new. I don't know. We just figured it out. We Crash, about the guy who started WeWork.
Yeah.
And dude, it's epic. It's on. If you got into Super Pumped,
Yeah.
you will love this.
Awesome.
If you got into like we had talked about earlier, the Anna.
Yeah.
Anna, whatever her name was, Delvey.
Yeah. But what's wild is like those series, like, so HBO Max released 12 episodes. I think it was 12 episodes of basically like scammers. It was like, it was called like Hustle or something like that. But it was each one of them was a hour-long episode of just a different scam that somebody was running. So the WeWork guy, I remember watching it because it was such an interesting thing about real estate.
Yeah.
And this guy, I mean, all of them, we've talked about it before, but it's literally, they've all dealt with not money. The way they got to the positions that they were in was clout. They had tricked people into basically believing they were more than what they were.
Just like we were talking about a couple episodes ago.
They're in sales.
Crazy. Like, and there's no numbers to back it up. And I think I remember the WeWork one. He was like fraudulently like making the stock price, like he was manipulating the stock prices to make it look like it was worth more than what it was. Is that the same?
I didn't even get to that episode.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I'm not sure though, because we're on like episode 5 out of 8. I think 7 have been released.
Yeah.
So far, he's not really doing anything fraudulent so far, and they're working in the billions at this point. What it is he's just, what I see a lot of these businesses do is they get they don't delegate the power well.
Yeah.
The creative guy is also the finance guy, and there's no checks and balances.
Yeah.
Literally, pardon the pun on checks, because you got to have someone who's like, whoa, dude, you know, you're just going buck wild in this one direction, and have that person be able to say, I also have the authority to veto this, you know, because it's tough when you watch one of these stories and you see an awesome business get started, you see someone crushing it, and you're like, yeah, go get it. And then you're like, oh no, you're about to drive straight off a cliff.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, if someone could have just grabbed the wheel, just about 100 yards back. If
Jesus, take the wheel.
Well,
yeah.
What's crazy is if you watch it, like when you watch these series, they all have the same like addictive personality. They all are like looking for that last score. They're like, one more time, and then like it just gets. They just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and then there's no way out.
Yeah.
Like there's no way out. The Anna series was like one of the most interesting one. What was the one? There was one about the woman who faked the technology for like blood testing. Like that was like
Elizabeth Holmes.
She's wild. Like she literally she duped everyone into thinking that she created like this technology for, I think it was blood. Like
it's like Catch Me If You Can shit.
Yeah, no,
right?
and she had nothing. She didn't even have a prototype when she went to these people. And
she was like a college student practically.
Yeah. It's and she looks like a robot, if I remember.
Yeah.
She literally is like a robot. Like,
so is this We Crash? Is this on Netflix?
Like,
where is this on? I've never.
That's on Apple TV.
Okay.
That's on Apple TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some good stuff, man. I highly recommend. I mean, not that I'm like an exec for them or anything.
Yeah. Have you caught the new series Killing It by Craig Robinson? It's on Peacock. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty funny. Okay. A lot of the I binge watched all 10 this weekend. It's so funny to see like what Hollywood thinks about like businesses, because in the show, and I won't spoil any of it, but they have like a convention, you know, like kind of like your Grant Cardone, you know, those like motivational speakers and all that stuff. Yeah. And they had this thing, and they basically, it's so sad to see like the premise of the story is this guy is like trying to make it. Craig Robinson's character is trying to make it, and he's willing to spend his last dollar to go to this conference because He thinks like this is going to change his life, and then like you see how bad these people are as human beings. Like because he like gets to meet. It's like when you get to meet your hero, and then it's like, oh, it's devastating to see that they really don't care about you at all. And that's really like this episode. I was like, oh, this is crushing to see. But then it also makes me laugh because I've never been one for those those kind of conferences. Like, and it's nothing against anyone who goes.
No, not at all.
I don't get, rah-rah for it. I played sports. I've got enough rah-rah in me. I don't need to go, have somebody on stage tell me like, are you a loser? You don't want to wake up or what,
There was a Tony Robbins one. I think he had only put one on Netflix. It was a couple of years ago. I don't know if you guys saw it. Tony Robbins put like a 1 hour of a summary of a weekend retreat that he did. And it was bizarre. Like when you just said, you don't need someone to tell you you're a loser. Dude, he called this guy out. He was having relationship problems with his girl.
I think I saw this.
He called this guy out in front of his girl, in front of the whole crowd. And Tony put his giant banana hand like on his head, dude. Like it just went around his head like tentacles. And it was the most he just owned him. He broke his masculine value man to man in front of his woman. And he's like, this is going to build you up. And it's like, no, it is not, dude. You just crumbled this guy to nothing. And his girl was talking about like they wanted to get pregnant and stuff. I'm like, she ain't going to even want to kiss this guy. He just got smoked by Tony Robbins in the name of growth. Yeah. I don't think so.
He gave him the righteous gemstones.
Dude.
He gave him that righteous gemstones.
Well, gemstones is the balls, dude.
Oh my God.
Oh, righteous gemstones.
That's the best show going today. Yeah.
Well, right anything with Danny McBride is that's my jam, dude.
The sister Judy is like the funniest person on the face of the earth right now.
Right.
Oh, Uncle Baby Billy. Billy Freeman, baby. Come on now. Come on now. Uncle Baby Billy.
Billy.
That is, oh my God.
Elsa's smiling across the room.
She's a
toilet baby.
Toilet bug. Yeah.
She's a toilet baby.
Toilet bug.
She's a toilet baby. That's what she is.
So what's up? What we doing here?
Well, so do we want to kick off the show?
Yeah. We better get this started. We can sit here and bullshit all day long. Well, look, everybody, welcome back to the Prop Culture Podcast. I am Matt Trader, and to my left is Mr. Shane Snoots, and with us once again, all the way from Hollywood, California, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Paul Roseberry. And Roseberry, we had so much fun with last week, we decided to bring him back on the show today because we really didn't even get him on. He really didn't even get an opportunity to do what we had him on for last week, and that was to tell us some of his epic stories and share some of his newer routines for us out there in stand-up world. So, Paul, welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Hey, brother. Thanks for coming back on, man. We appreciate you having you on.
Yeah.
Guys, flattered and excited to be back again, especially so soon. Yeah, man. I feel like we could have just run last week. So excited to be back. Yeah, man. I like Trader and I keep up during the week here and there. We just talk about little tidbits. And, I mean, if we're just talking about what's going on right now, Trader, coming off from Easter, Shane doesn't know about this little bit, but it's just something that crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And I never step on toes. I never want people to be offended. I'm not an offensive comic. But sometimes you just think about stuff that isn't so, like the pieces are there, but no one's arranged them in this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So prime example, coming off Easter. This is Jesus' holiday, right? Pretty clearly.
Yeah.
And so something that occurred to me, because you guys work in real estate, I work in real estate, and I know how realtors are. I know how our minds think. And it occurred to me, all right, so Jesus was a carpenter before he was a religious leader, right?
Right.
We all know that. So what I wondered, no one ever thinks about this, man. How long after Jesus passed, how long did it take before the real estate agents in his town realized, hey, we got to go knock on the doors of the houses he built. And we got to go get these people to list, because these now just became premium Jesus limited edition premium properties.
One of one.
That is true, yeah.
One of one.
Dude. Yeah, exactly. And just they start pitching. I could see them pitching it, being like, look, your house is worth 5 to 10, maybe 100 times what you thought it was worth a month ago. this is your chance to sell. What we're going to do, we're going to convert the third bedroom into an indoor manger.
Yeah. Yes.
We're going to make a hole in the roof so you can always see the North Star. Listen, I've got a great staging guy. We're going to put some frankincense over here, some myrrh over there. Honestly, you would be a wise man, a very wise man.
I see what you did there,
to sell
Paul.
at this time. You really...
With low inventory right now, and low and interest rates are low, and yeah, I mean,
there's only ever going to be 5. We're trying to corner the market. There are only ever going to be 5. You know, if you want to just make it a museum and donate it to the Preservation Society, I understand, but I can help you with that transaction as well.
Right, right. I love it.
So is that a new bit? Have you done that one yet? Have you done that yet?
Just conversationally.
Yeah,
just conversationally. It just popped into my head because we are in real estate.
Yeah.
You know how people are. Because, like, you know, anything goes on in anyone's family and you get weird calls from real estate agents. Hey, I was just checking in to see, you know, heard you had a baby. Do you want to buy, you know, like, who knows? But it just, there would be very limited inventory at that point. It'd be very exclusive.
Yeah. Not only in today's market is it low inventory, but there is probably a low inventory of those homes. How many full homes were built, right?
Jesus built homes.
Yeah.
Jesus built homes.
You know, you got
by the hand of the carpenter.
By the hand of God.
He was the carpenter.
Yeah, that's...
Well, and what I haven't worked out is the actual conversation, but like what if it went the other way? What if, you know, the guy was a fantastic spiritual leader, but what if he wasn't a good carpenter? What if he wasn't very good at it? You know? And then you got some like wife who's complaining to her husband when the roof is leaking, and she's like, "Morty, why is it leaking again? You always hire. Who did you get last time?" And he's like, "Oh, you don't even want to know. Get him back over here." I don't think he's coming back, honey.
Yeah.
I don't think this one's coming back. I don't.
Come back and turn that leak.
It's gonna be a while.
Come back and turn that leak into wine, right?
That's a dicey.
There's a good rosé dripping from the ceiling, honey. Put your mouth. Come on. Let's go.
That's how bits get written.
Yeah,
that's how bits get. You're right, right there.
Speaking of bits,
for some reason, when it comes in from the beams he touched, it does become Merlot.
That Merlot.
And now is a good time to sell.
Yeah.
For that reason, now is a good time to sell.
So you got anything else new you're working on? Any bits that you can share with us? Any fresh stuff?
Dude, well, all right. So Disney's hot. Right
I'm here to
now,
laugh
right?
today.
Everyone's
I'm here to
talking
laugh.
about Disney.
Oh my God! I just went to Disney. You got a Disney joke?
Oh, dude, I got Disney.
I literally just went to Disney. You can bring on all the Disney jokes you want, bud.
All right. So here's the thing. Let me ask you this. When you went to Disney, you went with your wife and your kids?
Yes, and my parents. Yeah.
I'd be kind of weird if you went alone, but I wouldn't judge you.
Yeah.
I would. But anyway.
I'm the type of guy that I probably would do that, though. Like, I'm a big nerd, and I love, like, amusement parks. So I would probably be that guy.
If you live locally.
Yeah. If I live locally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you do have a wife and kids, so it'd be like, what were they doing that day? You know what I mean? They're just like coloring.
Yeah.
They actually, I think they've said like actually the average age of the person, like people that go to Disney now, is like middle age, and it's like they've been going without kids.
Yeah.
Like it's just couples going to Disney without kids. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like
Disney's cool, man. I'll tell you. I didn't.
It's not weird. I shouldn't say it that way.
Yeah.
It's not weird. It's just. It's the people that they don't have kids, and maybe like I've never been to Disney, so I could see myself going there. Yeah, like I could see myself going there and be like,
just to try it out.
Yeah, like what's going on?
So
so I could see that, but that's what's strange. I heard this the other day. Somebody was talking about it, and I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of different to think about. That it's really not. It's built for kids, but really it's not because everything that's there costs. It's super expensive. So
it's changed so much since I went.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
When I went,
I just pointed my wooden finger at you.
That's right. That was.
I wasn't even thinking about it.
That is it. What's it? What's it? Tell me what's it? What are we talking about? You said what's it? That's
all right.
it.
So the thing with the Disney is it's the cost. It's the cost that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Right. Because the tickets are not cheap. I don't know what they cost. $10,000, something nuts just to get in the park.
An arm and a
crazy.
leg.
Just to. Yeah. But here's the thing, Trader. When you went, did you get the fast pass?
The lightning lane, the lightning lane is called. You actually have to get up.
Okay.
It's not a traditional fast pass like it used to be, but it's still, you have to pay a lot more money. You have to schedule your lightning lane in advance. But yeah, I got it. It was Yeah, it's a little more complicated than I thought it would be, but it worked. Yeah.
So what I'm pointing out here is that so there are two ways to go to the park. You can buy a regular ticket and you get in the park, and then you could just go stand in line and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then you can pay extra, as you're talking about. The lightning lane used to be called the speed pass, so that you could spend less time waiting in line.
Yeah.
Right? Now, but do we realize why you're spending less time in line? Do you understand why?
Just paying more money.
It's because you're cutting the poor.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, dude.
You're cutting the poor. 100%.
I guess. Yeah. Great. I feel horrible
big
now.
time. You didn't think about it consciously. This was Mickey's idea. This is on him. But no, the thing is this, is that you're cutting the poor, because there's still only one roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're all getting on the same roller coaster, but you just don't have to wait as long to get on. So that means you shafted the guy who didn't have the money to pay that much. He still paid the $1 million to get in the park. And think about it this way. The more you use your speed pass throughout the day, the more times it gets you on the ride sooner, the more valuable of a purchase it was for you. And the more times you get on, the more the other guy had to wait longer in line with his regular pass, which means his pass was worth less to him.
Well, the additional $79.99,
so even at Disney,
right? Like, what is it?
Yeah, so even at Disney, the rich get richer and the poor get poor. That's the problem. Even at Disney, the rich get richer and the poor get poor.
How much is a lightning pass?
Oh, man. I think you had to, I want to say I think they were like an extra $150 a person or something like that. And then it was an extra for certain rides, like the Rise of Resistance. And I don't quote me on the prices because I really don't remember. But I think the extra, like the Rise of Resistance and the Flight of Passage, some of the special rides, there was even an additional a la carte price for those rides.
They won't see me. They won't see me.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, though. So, like, what happens if everyone buys a lightning pass?
Well, that's a good question.
Because, like, here's the thing. Like, it's business.
The economy's doing too well.
But here's the thing. They got you. When they get there, you go, well, for an additional $150, you can get a lightning pass, which means there's no lines or whatever. But if you're already there and you see how many people are there, even if you're on the low end, like, you're just there, you put everything on a credit card, you're still like, $150, I don't got to wait in any lines. Cool.
Oh,
it was worth it. Like,
it was worth it.
Their business model's great because guess what? You get to the park after paying $10,000 to get there. What's an additional $150 per head to get in the line?
It was
a lightning pass.
4 hours to ride the new Star Wars Rise of Resistance if you didn't have the lightning pass, and I think it was still like 30 minutes if you did. Maybe 40. But honestly,
look at that.
After riding
30 minutes versus 4 hours.
After riding that ride, I would have probably paid. I would have waited in line for 4 hours to ride it because that Rise of Resistance was unbelievable.
Dude, that's a lot.
That's how good it was. But I would have paid $200 or $300 more to ride that ride.
4 hours? You can do so many activities in 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what?
Man,
dude, 4 hours?
No, for real.
Dude,
you could learn Spanish.
Yeah, dude.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny, and I don't want to get too far on track. You know what's hilarious is these kids. A lot of the kids today, I'm watching them wait in line, and they're all on their phones, and they're like enjoying waiting because they're just on their phones. Some of the kids were actually getting upset that they had to get on the ride because they had to get off their phone. This is the truth. Like, I'm observing this. This is mind bending to me. They literally were like, "Can we just go to Disney?" Huh?
You should be a politician because that's like hearing the rich politician being like, "Are you kidding? These people aren't poor. They love being poor. They love it. No, they roll around in the dirt, not because that's the kind of floor they have in their house. They just like being connected to the earth. They love it. Oh yeah, they were eating mud, not because they were."
They loved being on their iPhone 6 that barely has service there. Like,
so what's your
you enjoyed everything about it. No,
trying to send pictures to the family who couldn't afford to go as to what it's like to wait for 4 hours at the happiest place on earth. Well, listen, here's the thing. I got a solution, though. Here's my sick-minded solution.
Okay.
I say if you're going to have this extra $150 lightning pass so that the rich can cut the poor, let's just go all in. Let's make a platinum pass.
What's that?
And for an extra $1,000, the rich can really indulge. And what you do is you build a catwalk that actually goes above the poor. So you can go right up on top of them, above them. And once you get up there,
man, that's terrible.
You can actually just pour a little bit of your soda on them.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? You can throw some candy. Yeah, you can. No,
So
that's terrible.
Because that's what these.
You just became a king in the 1700s.
But to balance it out, and to make things fair for the poor, and to make extra money, because Disney wants every dollar they can, you actually sell something the poor can afford, which is a little box of rocks. Just a small little box of rocks for like $7. So when they're down there and that soda's coming down on them and the popcorn and the M&Ms, they can actually take a rock and throw it up at the rich.
Oh man.
They get their they get their chance to fight back. The poor get to have their chance of vengeance. And they get to have that feeling of finally getting to throw a rock at the rich guy who's always looked down on.
It's like a whole nother ride, rich versus poor at Disney World.
I think that's a whole nother scenario. I mean, there's probably more people than not that would buy rocks. Even rich people, I think, would buy the rocks.
My kids would want to buy the rocks.
And be like,
oh, my kids would love that. Can we throw rocks?
Whoever's standing, dude, I would listen 100%. I bet you, if I took a poll today, 10 out of 10 people would be like, no, I would love to throw a rock at someone and see what happens. like 10 out of 10 people would be like, I'd love nothing more than to throw a rock. Like, they'd be like, are you kidding me? Wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question. So you're saying I get to walk on a catwalk and escalator across, all this stuff. They'd be like, cool. Who's going to be up there? And they'd be like, well, like these kids that are, they'd be like, oh, wait, you're talking about privileged kids? Cool deal. Sign me up.
Yeah.
How many rocks can I buy? How many boxes can you? Is there a limit to that?
As many as you want. As many as you want.
Do you guys have a slingshot? Yeah. Like, hey, do you have something that we can pelt them with?
Here's the thing. Here's the one final caveat though, is that because Disney does recognize they're only going to make so much on these $7 boxes of rocks versus the $1,000 platinum pass. They did put some fine print. They actually had a scientist engineer the size and weight of the rock versus the height of the catwalk. It's actually not possible to hit one of the rich people with the rock. It looks like it. You think so, and it feels good when you throw it. But scientists like Pedro Martinez could not, Tom Brady couldn't hit it's so close. But what ends up happening is you don't end up hitting the rich people with the rock. And then what does that mean? The rock just comes right back down and hits you. After you've thrown it.
And then you got kids coming in with pockets full of rocks then. They're taking rocks for the outside.
When you say the slingshot, they're going to have to pat down. You're going to have to go through a little wood detector, I guess.
Can you imagine that? They literally have to pat you down and be like, we can't have them bringing outside rocks to here.
Yeah, exactly. Only Disney approved.
Only Disney approved rocks.
Yeah,
I could see Disney pulling that off. Their engineering is unbelievable. They're like the master of illusions.
You could maybe clink the bottom of the catwalk, but no rich person has ever been injured. Don't worry, rich people. This is for the poor to feel like they have a chance. Don't worry about it. They're gonna.
That's unbelievable.
But that's what it's like. That's what it's like to be poor in a rich man's world. Is you think you finally get your chance to fight back, and what does it do? It hits you right in the head.
Yeah, so. I think that's more said than not. A lot of times. We talked about a whole bevy of different things before we got on here, but that's life in general. Yeah. It's just life in general. We're small pieces in a cog. We're not, for people who think that, one vote, this or that. No, corporations run everything. And again, that's not I'm not a political person at all. But if you don't think that corporations run America, that's what we're built off of. That's just my personal opinion of it, and it's not anything that I don't follow politics like everyone else because I really don't care that much about not as in I want the world to be okay, but it's just too tribal, and I'm not for one team or the other. I don't want to be on that.
And it's like that with everything. It's not just politics, but it's like tribalism is involved in literally everything. Even we were talking about wrestling the other week. How one promotion hates the other promotion. You have to be on one side or another. And it's it's just literally like that throughout culture. And it's it's like I was talking about before we got on, there's no money in unity. There's no money in the middle. So they want to keep us from the middle as much as possible. They want to keep us in disagreement, keep us divided because the money's in the divide.
Yeah, it's harder.
And that's
it's harder to sell to the middle.
Yeah,
it's harder to sell to the middle. You want someone who's either you want the guy who's totally thirsty in the desert. You don't want someone who's interested in water and may buy some at some point. You want the guy who is thirsty right now and is screwed. That's who you want. You want the extreme situation. You want the guy who's on fire to sell him a fire extinguisher. That's what you want.
Exactly. It's all about fundraising. And I don't want to get political because we're not in all the political bullshit on this show like everybody else is. So either way, I'm an entertainer, not a politician.
Sometimes it sneaks in. Sometimes I think it actually sneaks in, though. You guys ever watch that show, what is it, Undercover Boss?
Yeah. I love that show.
And that's like, exactly. We all love it. Let's see if you still love it if you put it through this filter, though. Again, twisted mind of a comedian guy. Here's the thing. So I grew up poor, right? So I know the mindset of a poor person. I can see things. I know when you're kind of being like sold the dream, if you will. So this show is pitched as this is where an owner of a company goes down to work as like a low-level laborer to make sure the company's running right?
Right.
I think you could have the exact same show, but pitch it as a little more of what it really is. You got a CEO who's so rich and has been so rich for so long that helicopter rides don't do it for him anymore. Yeah. Lobsters, no big deal. You know what I mean? This guy's been around the world. He needs something new to really get him excited. So he said, ooh, here's something. Why don't I pretend I'm poor and go hang out with poor people and see if I can trick them into believing I'm poor.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go see if I still got it. Let's go see if I'm also a great actor. Let's go see if I can go make friends with some poor people.
Yeah.
They like me and trust me and think I'm their friend. And just when they think we're friends, I call them in for a little meeting. And I let them know, hey, you want to know some wild news? And they're like, yeah, what's going on? You're like, hey, only one of us is really poor.
And
they're like, what? Did I win a lottery? I'm like, no, you didn't win a lottery. I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm not this ugly. And they take the wig off. I'm loaded. Isn't this exciting? And the person's like, what? No, what do you mean? No, how is this exciting for me? And he's like, who cares? I tricked you into believing I was poor. Isn't it crazy? I could I still got it. I get what it's like to be poor. And they're like, I don't, you're just Jeff. I met you last week by the dumpster. We would smoke kind of. What? So you're not my friend? No, I'm not your friend at all. I'm not your friend.
Yeah.
I'm way too rich to be your friend. But listen, for being on the show, I got something for you. I don't know. How about, and he just wheels into the cash. How about like $600? Isn't that enough to like pay off your house or something? Come on. Let's put your kids through school.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you look at it that way, in that context, it is actually kind of sad to like,
it is terrible.
It's not even, well,
it's a little sick.
I had a conversation. So this weekend, I was with one of my really good friends, and we were in St. Michael's, and we were just talking in general, and just about how everything, like the world, everything costs more now, and everything else, and like the conversation of like what is the true middle class, and you talk, your first episode you talked about being from the trailer parks and everything else, and I think what. I think you can relate to it in a sense. I don't think there really is a middle class anymore. Like the middle class is not, it's a fallacy. Either you're over here or you're over there. The same thing as like tribalism. What would be your definition of middle class? How much do you make?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Like I think that's just the middle America doesn't exist anymore. Either you're getting by, you're barely getting by, or you're doing well.
Yeah,
there's no like, hey, I'm okay. I got, it's like, well, now I'm getting by.
Yeah.
Tell me the last person that you
know what though? All right. I was thinking, this is kind of a raw thought, but from yesterday, just literally yesterday, I was thinking about this exact same topic. And I think we're in a funky spot where the answer to that question is going to be based on a global perspective.
Right.
Because like today, when you turn on the news, you hear so much about racism. You hear so much about sexism. And it's so much division and trying to make it sound like one party has it so good, the other one has it so bad. But then when you really step back, you're like, maybe an individual case is kind of like in politics. Some people might be terrible, some might be great. So most people don't have it that bad or that good. What I think where we're really going to see a shift is that now with internet, global speed communication, Wi-Fi around the world, we're going to realize it's not about racism and sexism in the United States or in Europe. It's about we are all the middle class now. Yeah. All of people who are in a first world country, if you will, because we have running water, we have electricity, we have food on every corner. You know what I mean? As Wi-Fi starts to make it to parts of South America, parts of Africa, parts of Siberia, where people really, really struggle, people are going to get that Wi-Fi. They're going to see how we live, and they're going to be like, wait, what? What the hell are these people? They're complaining to each other about which restaurant is bad. Oh, my God. And then we're going to realize, oh, whoa, we shouldn't even be bitching to each other at all, because we are then being discriminative toward the people who have nothing, like dirt. You know what I mean? Like they still don't have hot water running from a tap in a room in their house. You know, like they don't have toilets in India.
From that,
so we're all like we are the middle class.
Well, I think from that perspective, like if we're going global, obviously, I think we really none of us have any. You can't. I mean, when you go outside of the U.S., even to like Mexico, like when I've been to Mexico on vacation, it's a different world. Like it's a different world, brother. Like it is not the things that we take. We take certain things for granted. And when you go outside of here, you don't understand how easy it is to just go to the store and buy something. Like for us, we just go hop in the car. We can go get this. This is readily available. For some people don't even have cars. They can't do. They have to walk. So I mean, on a global perspective, yes. I just my only thought about it was just in the U.S. in the context of how things are set up. I think there's no longer a middle class. I think
I don't know if it's a true middle class. I think it's like there's just different levels of probably middle class, kind of like what Paul's.
Yeah, well,
there's like a tier of middle class.
Like I just don't think there is a true like. You can't say, hey, they're middle class. That's a middle class family.
Nobody knows. Would it be like a median class?
No, it's the thing is like what you like. I think a lot of us all consider ourselves middle class, but it's like what you consider middle class is different than my middle class, and my middle class is different than his middle class.
Right.
But the whole thing is, you think about it, we've always, and there's no offense, right? But we've always promoted middle class. Like everybody wants to be middle class. The blue collar guy is this great thing, and I'm not saying that it's not. But what we've done is, in talking about the rich and the poor, is we've demonized the rich. We're basically they're promoting. They're basically promoting to the average citizen or to everybody that it's bad to be rich. So instead of going out and going to people and saying, what is that 1%er over there doing to be successful? I need to find out so I can emulate that and get his advice on taxes or how to build, generational wealth and things like that. Instead of that, we're teaching people that it's acceptable to tear those people down. So what we're doing is we're preaching mediocrity by promoting middle class, when really when you're shooting for a middle level, really you're falling below middle. You're going to become, below average. So we should be promoting the rich and saying, find out what your friend that knows how to take advantage of tax breaks and things like that and knows how to build wealth, go find out and listen to them and learn from them instead of trying to tear them down. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
But don't you think that from a standpoint of like that's an like ideology, like your mindset, I'm a blue collar guy. You know what I mean? I would never say you're a blue collar. We're all blue collar. Like we're not saying we're better than anybody, but I think all I'm saying is dollar wise, like where is the dollar amount, the median household income? Like I think for Delmarva, I think for here, like I think the median income for Salisbury, all that, maybe might be wrong. Maybe it's 60 grand, 60, 70 grand.
That's good money income around here.
You
can live lavish.
But I'm saying if I took that and said 60 for a household in California, I mean LA, you can't even rent a box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
you're under a bridge.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying is what is the there is no definition because there's so again, I get it that demographically like we're in different places.
Yeah.
So we're not a huge metropolitan area, but I just think it's very strange, you know, when you think about what is the true definition of what a middle, like the number. If you had to put a number on it today,
I don't know.
You wouldn't be able to.
You wouldn't.
You couldn't put a number on that because
here's the thing, because I think it comes back to quality of life, and like I know where like I'm sure you guys have seen, and were you guys into The Matrix? I mean, we'll make the big jump. Remember the movie The Matrix?
Yeah.
Did you guys like it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the thing. Have you thought about this? Are we reaching a point where even the most basic life, like living scale, whatever that is it's really so much more enjoyable than it ever used to be? Like you ever wonder, would you rather be a king in the year 800 or a Walmart employee today?
That's
think about it. You got to be king then, but where did you poop?
Your quality
what
of
did
life
you wipe
is terrible.
with?
That's a great question.
How did you take a shower?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what did you eat? What was on the menu? Where did food come from? How did you stay warm? What happened when you got a headache?
Yeah.
What happened when you got a cold? You didn't have Dimetap or whatever. You know, so now, you know, or would you rather be just the most basic entry-level job anywhere? You work at Wendy's, whatever, and wherever you work, you know, obviously we've all been there. But you then could go get a little, you know, Ford Fiesta that is way better than riding on a horse. And you can go eat at Wendy's. You know what I mean? You can go whatever you've got. And then you've got a phone. That's what really gets nuts, is that we all, dude, think about what a magic window the phone would have been even 100 years ago, let alone 1,000 years ago. Like, you would have to be the richest man on earth to have this device in your hand that could tell you all information at any given time, any fact, the population of Europe, whatever. So, but we all have that. Even the poorest of the poor. I've seen homeless people in California here in LA who have smartphones. So that's kind of where we're getting into this funky spot where like the middle class has expanded so wide because even the bottom, it's like still kind of okay. Like not, you know what I mean? It's not designed, but
that's
it's
what
like
I mean though.
Livable.
There is no.
So I think we're going to be in the Matrix.
That's why there is no, like it starts here and it ends here.
Yeah.
Like you're like, but there's such a diverse gap in between. And all I'm saying is quality of life is, I understand the quality of life here by any means now that we live in today is way better than 100 years ago, 200, 300 years ago. I guess just my only thing is like when people, and I see it, and this is what, I mean, shout out to those people. I see a lot of people in my profession, they still work 2-3 jobs to just provide. Like just to provide.
You have to sometimes.
And I'm like all of this to be quote unquote middle class, right?
I worked 4 jobs when I started real estate.
Like that's what's crazy to me is I'm like, dude, that's nuts. Like not from a perspective like no one should work that hard, but they're working 3 jobs and you know they have a full-time and 2 part-time jobs to just survive. I'm like, man, this is insane.
But I think it's evolution at the end of the day. You know, there's a lot of things that I could take, honestly, Paul, from what you said. I'd love to go into some more deeper conversation about the phones versus, you know, the information we have versus the lack of information they have, and if there was more critical thinking back then. There's a whole conversation we had. But I'm thinking about the evolution standpoint. I think about it like in terms of sports. You know, we argue sports all the time, and it's like we always think that, you know, let's say basketball, for instance. All the basketball players we grew up with were so great, right? But the bench players,
Larry Bird.
You're right. But it's like you look at the players today, and it's like, you know, the bench players today were probably better than some of the stars of yesterday.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? I know I watch it. We talk about basketball all the time. You know, Paul and I are always watching basketball and talking about it. But you know, you know,
well, and that does lead into an opinion that I've developed, and Trader and I talk about once in a while, which is what makes people fans of basketball. And I'll say, all right, so on the one hand, we've got, because I've got a very specific view on why guys are so into basketball. So we all know nobody watches the WNBA, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I'm not.
And,
sorry.
and
you can call me gender biased.
Does.
I'm not watching women's basketball. No offense. I'm not. Sorry. I'm just being honest.
Does.
Just not.
I didn't even. I didn't even know.
I will not apologize for that.
I didn't even know they came back until. This sounds terrible, but I didn't know that they were actually. I thought after the pandemic year, I thought they had shut down.
Yeah.
And then I seen like they had a draft, and I was like, oh, this is still a thing. Like, okay, I didn't because everyone's
still doing that.
No, because everyone says the worst part about it is everyone says like the pay gap between. It's like the average NBA player is making what, like, I think they're like $50,000 is like their salary, like 50 compared to like LeBron James is like $23 million a year. It's like, what?
Yeah, they got other jobs.
Yeah,
like, they still like work in offices and stuff.
They're like the Jackie Moon. It's like Jackie Moon from Semi-Pro, like where they're like they're promoters on the weekend, like they're doing other things.
Yeah,
Jackie
DJs.
Moon.
Yeah. Like they're doing the halftime
I think part of the reason that nobody watches the WNBA, all right, one is just because the NBA is so good, right? That's for real. Like the NBA is so much more fun to watch, and we have TiVo, we've got DVR, we got all this. I mean, TiVo sounds dated, but like I would rather watch a random YouTube NBA game from like '91 than today's afternoon WNBA. Like, just no one's going to watch it. But the other thing is this, is that even women don't watch the WNBA. Even in today's like super female supportive times, women aren't even watching the WNBA. And I don't think women probably watch as much NBA. And it's not a slight. What it is that men like basketball more than women. And the reason is because I figured it out. This is deep science, but I figured it out. I figured out why men like basketball more than women.
All right.
It's because men, every day, we walk into the bathroom. We step right up to the bowl, which is a rim. It's a rim. And we walk right up to it. We stand above it. We have the best angle you can get. We're above the rim.
Okay.
And then we shoot a little pea stream narrower than our little finger into a rim wider than our forearm.
Yeah.
And we still miss. How do we miss, dude? I have missed into the tub. I have missed onto my foot.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You ever have the double miss, the split stream, where it goes in the tub and on your foot, and you're like, how did I miss two shots when I only took one? You know, how did I miss? I missed behind the backboard. I have missed behind the backboard into the back, like the part you don't even want to clean later and touch. So as a man, when you know every day you miss that easy of a shot, and then you go turn on your 65-inch TV and you see an NBA player just drill a 30-foot shot on a 10-foot rim with a ball half the size of the rim and nail it, you're like, that's not just impressive. That is magic. It's unbelievable what that man just did. And when our girls see it, they're like, what, did he score? And you're like, did he score? He conquered physics, honey. He conquered physics.
Yeah, we can't.
It's not possible to do what he just did.
Exactly.
I fail on much smaller rims, bigger rims, you know? So when we see that, and then what still blows our mind, to really cap it off, what still blows our mind, what really fills the seats and sells the jerseys, is knowing that even after watching that guy, your Jordan, go out there, your LeBron, and go up, put up 50 points against defenders. Someone's trying to block his shot, and he still drills it for 50 points. That guy goes home, steps right up to a lower rim, and he puts it in his toilet, in his tub. He misses.
Oh, yeah.
Even he misses. How does he miss?
One of them urinary tract infection pisses.
So we know how hard it is to do what they do on the court in a way that women can never appreciate. And that's why the WNBA will never be as big as the NBA. That's why. Because all women do, when women go to the bathroom, all they do, they go right up and dunk. Every time. They just dunk. They dunk every single time. They don't take any downtown shots. They don't do any free throws. They don't mess with that. They dunk.
They're taking them 90s NBA pisses.
And what's the one thing you'll never see in the WNBA? No dunk.
Well, it's
no dunk. So it doesn't even attract women. Women are like, there's no dunks. Why are these women shooting from so far away? We've perfected the dunk.
PPing like Shaq. They're PPing like Shaq every play.
There's nothing like a hard piss at like a sports game, like a sporting event. If you go to the NFL, if you go to Raven Stadium, it's like a trough. There's nothing like a hard piss there, because most of the people just stand back. You know what I mean? Like literally, no one like hugs it. No one's hugging it there. Everyone's you're just trying to fit in, dude. So you're gonna take a hard piss.
You're trying to fit in.
You're just trying to.
We like to see how far we can drain it from.
Yeah, we're like, especially with a trough.
We all like to try to get that.
I mean, dude.
Yeah, we all try to make that half court shot.
Oh yeah, I mean, and if you're missing a trough, there's a problem. I mean, it's room wide. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I mean, there might be a little bit of a slow start, but I think once you get going, especially you had a couple drinks in you, you're good.
Yeah. I got kicked out of a Pearl Jam show back in 2000 for pissing outside in the line at the Va Beach Amphitheater. So I'm a little more cautious about how I pee now. And I was doing some wild shit at that show, but somehow I got kicked out for that. Of course, I was standing out.
What, you ended up because you were peeing where?
I was. They were playing Porch. It was right before the encore. I ran to go to the bathroom, and I was in line and decided that the wall probably was a quicker option than waiting for the toilet. And then they grabbed me up. Yeah. So this is funny, right? So they grab me up. They bring me to the little I don't know, like lock away area or whatever, to tell me that I've been evicted from the place and I can't come back for 5 years. There's probably I don't know 20,000 people there maybe, right? So out of all 20,000 people, all the people that are in this little spot, this little area, there just happens to be one other guy there, and he's from my hometown, which is a population of like, 1,000 people. How crazy is that?
Bunch of pissers in your town.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but that was wild. But yeah, so what else is going on out in Hollywood, man? Tell us some stories. I want to hear a Paul Roseberry, true Hollywood, extended Rick James story. Give me something good.
You kind of just queued up a story I wasn't planning on talking about, but all right. So in Hollywood, we have, speaking of concerts and pissing, we have the largest outdoor venue in the country, the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
It's a legendary outdoor venue. It's a massive stadium seating, all cement. It's a big, beautiful place. And so years and years ago, I went there to go see Def Leppard.
Oh yeah.
And Journey. Def Leppard and Journey.
Man.
And now when so you can understand why I wanted to go.
Yeah, damn right,
I was really there. I was there for one song. I mean, legendary bands, great.
What's your song? Don't Stop Believing?
Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Really? You like that over Don't Stop? Is that better?
Well,
that's another conversation.
Keep in mind, hold on. But it wasn't Steve Perry. It was the Asian guy.
Okay.
Who killed it. Who killed it.
Fair enough.
He did. He was unbelievable.
Fair enough.
If you were facing the other way, you wouldn't know.
All right, fair enough.
But you do know it's not Journey. So here's the thing. Here's where it got wild. I ended up. You were talking about you got kicked out for peeing on like the wall, dude. I peed on a guy. But let me explain.
I didn't know we invited R. Kelly on the show today.
No, but listen, I didn't mean to. I didn't want to pee on somebody, but I'm not a bad guy. It sounds terrible. I actually started telling the story after it happened. And as soon as I said, I peed on a guy at that concert, this dude was like, I don't like you. And I'm like, you know what? You didn't hear the context. Don't be a prick. All right, so here's the thing. So I'm at the show, right? And like I said, so before we even go, we're pre-gaming. We're in our 20s. My buddy and I were just rifling. We're actually doing like the rum and Pepsi. We're totally ghetto. And so then I fill up like a 20-ounce. I'm already drunk. And I fill up a 20-ounce with mostly rum and some Pepsi. And I sneak it in my pocket and I get into the show because we were broke. We didn't have money for concert drinks. Cost $50 each. And so we're in there and we're up, nosebleed seats on these cement stadium seats, whatever. And we're way in the back. We're having a good time. Now, it had rained earlier that day. It never rains in LA, and it was still kind of drizzly. And so it's a little bit like wet on these cement, seats and bleachers. And that becomes important in a moment. So here's the thing. So I go to the bathroom once early in the show, and like you said, man, the line is on the moon, dude. You got to go so far. And I missed 5 songs minimum, and I think I went during a break, So now it's later on the show. Def Leppard is on. I have to pee again. I got to pee pretty bad. I've been drinking. But I'm here for Pour Some Sugar On It. And I'm not missing it. I'm sure as hell not missing it to this line that could swallow up the whole rest of the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I've got to pee. So I'm drunk, and I get drunk creative. And I'm like, this shouldn't have crossed my mind, but it did. It shouldn't have. But I look down, and I notice it's a little bit wet on the ground on the cement stadium seating because it had rained. And because it had rained, I was wearing warm-ups, like elastic waist warm-up, because, I just didn't want to have jeans that stay wet the whole day.
Were they the breakaways? Were they the breakaways?
They were breakaways.
Yeah.
They were breakaways, dude.
My man.
And so it occurs to me, wait a minute. Everyone's standing up watching the show. Everyone's focused that way, up that high. What if I just sit down and I just snap that elastic waist down and I just pee right where I'm sitting? You know what I mean? What if I just pee right here?
Squat?
Dude, because look, no one's going to be looking at the guy who's sitting down. No one's going to be sitting down.
So you were dunking. You were trying to dunk. You were trying to dunk that piss.
Dude, I was trying to dunk.
Okay.
It was a layup.
You pulled it through your pants. You pulled it through.
No. I pulled the waist over. I went, as Larry David would say, I jumped the fence. As Larry David would say.
All right.
I hopped the fence.
Okay.
I go over. So now I sit down and I'm doing it. And like I said, the place is designed, it's an outdoor venue. So it's set up for drainage. You know what I mean? So I know it's not just going to stay there. It's going to, you know what I mean? The whole place has a pitch and it's got drainage and there's already been rain. So I think the rain is going to wash it away because it's still missing. So anyway.
A little bit of alcohol too.
I sit down. Oh, and the alcohol.
So,
and it was I had to pee so bad. And I am firing a fire hose, dude. I am just blasting away. Yeah. And I'm so excited, just to be finally doing this because I resisted. I didn't have a plan. I didn't want to go all the way to that bathroom. And it feels like the best piss of my life. Woo, loving it. As I'm doing it, out of nowhere, I didn't realize. I just see this head in front of me spin around so fast. And it was this kid who was in the next row in front of us. He had sat down. I don't know why he sat down, but he had sat down. I thought I was peeing on the ground, but I didn't realize because that elastic waist was tighter than I thought. I'm peeing straight ahead. And I am peeing all over the guy in front of me. No. I'm peeing all over the guy. And as his head spins around, so many thoughts. I feel horrible. I feel embarrassed. I also noticed he was wearing like 5 layers. He had like a fleece vest and like a collared shirt. You know how many layers I had to have pissed through before it made it to his back to realize he was getting peed on? And the fact that he spins around, I snap the elastic waist back over. And I'm still holding my Pepsi bottle. And the kid turns around and somehow, lightning quick, I go, oh, hey, sorry, did I spill some on you? I said, I brought in this drink from outside and security's been staring hard. So I was trying to dump it out just in case they look over. Hey, I'm just trying not to get thrown out. He goes, oh, you're cool, man. You're cool. Hey, if they look over, it's just Pepsi. And I'm like, this kid he's my boy. Oh, I didn't come with him, but this is the coolest guy in the world. I just pissed all over him. Yes, he has my back, even though I pissed on his back.
Dude.
And he is willing to. And
that's a good dude right there, man. That's a good dude.
A good dude.
I mean, that's a.
He just got.
I'm just saying, man. Like,
dude, I doubt if he knew that you pissed on him, Bubba, he would.
Oh, he didn't know. Did I miss that part?
Yeah, no,
he didn't know.
If he knew,
he didn't know.
Pissed on.
You didn't tell me. Did I miss that part?
What? Fuck no.
If he knew,
dude, no, he would have called the guy over. He would have called security over and been like,
I didn't know. I didn't hear that. I blacked out for that. I didn't know that he didn't know. I thought you were saying he
said
knew.
It was Pepsi.
No, yeah, he thought I was dumping out my Pepsi because I was afraid of getting thrown out.
Okay, sorry, I'm lost.
And
all
so
right.
That's why he was like, yo, if security looks over,
man.
It was just Pepsi, bro. I got your back. I totally agree. And I'm like, you got my back. I got your back, buddy. You don't even know. You just got pissed all over. He thought I spilled a little bit of Pepsi on his shirt. And he's like,
man.
He doesn't know. I just fire hose pissed all over his whole getup.
And here's the thing: probably the decent part about it is at least it was probably like it was probably majority of it was alcohol. So like your liver was processing quick. So it was probably, it didn't have too much of a smell to it. Like, I mean, it wasn't like your initial. It wasn't like the initial when you break the break the seal. The first one, dude. That's a hard smelly piss. And if he got that on his back,
it was like orange soda.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Somebody, dude,
you're in trouble.
How awkward was that when like he got in the car and his like girlfriend was like, "Why does it smell like piss in the car?" And he's like, "Oh, it's Pepsi." Dude, like what?
Dude, here's the thing too. It's funny you mentioned his girlfriend because he had a girl with him, and she we had all talked before the show kicked off because we're just standing there waiting for the show. We weren't with them, but my buddies and I were talking to he and his girl. His girl was checking me out hard at the beginning. She was checking me out hard. I don't know. I was just chatty and having a little bit of fun. And she was giving me this eye, and I'm like, man, that's fucked up. And then I piss on him. And I'm like, man, at the end of the show, we said goodbye to them, and she still checked me out again. And I'm like, I can't even look at that girl. Could you imagine if I pissed on him and stole his girl? That guy would have to murder me.
Yeah,
he would have to come to where I am and kill me. I felt so like to this day, there's no way I would ever know who he is and he would know who I am. But like, I owe that dude a steak dinner. I owe that
when he
dude.
Sees this, well, wait till he sees it. And he's
man,
like, dude, you pissed on me? Like,
I felt so bad. Dude, you know what? And actually, if we're really going to close out the whole pissing thing, I'll give you one other little Hollywood story, but not nearly as eventful. But all right, so in LA, there's not as much land. Nobody has a yard, right? Like nobody has. It's not like when you're in the suburbs and you just go to a backyard and hang out. So the best you can hope for at like a house party or get together is a rooftop, right? That's where we're all trying to find a good rooftop. So I used to live mid-Wilshire in Hollywood, and I had a couple buddies over one night, and I lived in like this 2-story kind of low rise, and we're like, hey, let's go up to the roof. Let's go drink up on the roof. So we're cranking beers. And I had to piss, but I didn't want to go all the way back downstairs. So I'm like, oh, I'll just piss into the alley. You know what I mean? Who cares? There's an alley between my building and the next one. I'll just piss over the side of the roof. There weren't even lights. It's not like a setup roof. You're not even really supposed to be up there. So it's dark. Like who cares? Whatever, And so I just go for it. I just start pissing in the alley. And then as I'm doing it though, I'm like, God, that splash sounds a lot closer than it should.
Oh no! Gosh.
I'm on the second story, and then I'm like, but it's the echo. Why would it echo in an alley? That's a strange thing. I look over as I'm pissing. Dude, the stream was so strong. Oh, no. I crossed the alley. I went over the alley.
Oh, man, it was like insane.
Someone's living room.
Oh my gosh, that's.
The window was open. The lights were off. They were either in bed, it's like 2 a.m, or they weren't home.
Up?
So you made the 30-foot jumper. You made that 30-foot jumper.
Dude, imagine waking up.
You just drained that Steph Curry piss. That was that Steph Curry, boy.
I would be so upset. I'd be like, how did this get in the house?
Look at him.
So perplexed. Like, dude, did someone take a hot piss and like make it in the window? Could you, dude? I would be if that was. Could you imagine waking up to that? Like the next morning, you slip and fall on the floor and be like, is that piss? How'd that get here? Like, dude, oh my gosh. Dude, that would be
Who broke into my house?
Yeah, and just pissed.
Who broke in and pissed on my living room, stole nothing, and left? Yeah, who did this?
Just someone.
They probably thought they slept walk in the middle of the night and did it or something, right? I mean, what's the...
Yeah. How far down your list of guesses do you get before you're like, wait a minute, did someone from the other building go up there?
That's like the CSI urine unit, shit. Like, that's like Gil,
That's the last thing on my mind. I'd be like, somebody came in here and pissed. When you would, if you even, like, that's like a 1 out of 1. Like, it's a 1, like, how many times does it line up perfect? That's, I mean, that wouldn't be my first guess.
That's some wild shit.
No way.
You'd be like,
I felt horrible, dude. I was mystified, excited, and felt bad at the same time. It was all of those things. I was kind of proud.
I mean,
I would have been proud too.
You made it.
But yet you still can't hit the toilet, right?
It comes full cycle.
That's it.
Comes full cycle.
Yeah. I
can piss into a building I'm not even in.
Yeah.
But I can't miss my own tub.
You can't hit the toilet. Yeah. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
So what else you got?
Yeah.
You got any other story?
Yeah.
You got one more story for us before we got to wrap this up? All
right. How about this? All right. So here's how LA pulls you in. So I had lived in LA before. I left. I moved to New York City. After several years, my girl and I met. Her job moved us to Boston. And we're like, hey, it's too cold. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Do we go back to New York? What do we do? We said, let's go to LA. And so I came out to visit. All right. I still had some buddies here, and I came out to visit the buddies. I stayed with one of them, and just to kind of scope out the market, pick an apartment, whatever. So we go out that night. First night I'm back. And I'm still feeling a little mixed about moving back to LA a little bit. But I'm like, let's do it, And then so we go to this bar over on Sunset, and we're just hanging out. My buddy gets chatty with this kid who's also drinking over there. And because my buddy's a producer, he ends up having stuff in common with this kid who's an actor. He's on that show Atlanta. You guys ever see that? Yeah. So he's one of the cast members, one of the 3 dudes on Atlanta. He's not Gambino. He's like one of the other 2. And so they get chatty, and because they're both in the biz, the kid is like, hey, you guys seem cool. Why don't you come to this party with us?
Yeah.
We're like, hell yeah. All right, cool. Let's get out of here. So we go, and we're like hanging out in the parking lot of this hotel for a while, like waiting for some other people who are friends with the actor. Meanwhile, we're out there, and we got 2 Suburbans, and it's just like all these dudes, like huge black dudes who clearly had their own fucking party. They were in their own zone, but they were like, fuck it. These 3 white boys can show up and have fun with us. Who cares? And I'm like, oh, these guys are great. One dude has a brown bag, and it's a grocery store bag full of just bottles of like tequila, vodka, whatever. And he's just brown bagging it, but he's pouring everybody drinks. This guy's cool as fuck. So we're hanging with this guy. I do a shot with this guy. I'm sitting next to him in the SUV going to this party. And we show up to the party. The house party's huge, dude. Big mansion in the hills. Packed. Elbow to elbow. Packed. This place is going off. And then word is out. T-Pain might be coming to this party.
Oh, man.
No shit. All right, it's pretty fucking a wild night. This is cool.
Yeah.
T-Pain might show up. Now, I'm looking around. We don't see him. And I'm drunk enough that I don't know. Like, I don't know my hip-hop as well as I guess I should. I'm thinking T.I. What an idiot. I'm looking for T.I.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, I don't see him. Stupid. I was wasted. I know the difference, but I was wasted.
Yeah.
So anyway, so my buddies and I, like, the place is so packed that we end up hanging out on this balcony up on the 2nd floor with the same dude who had the brown bag and a couple of his buddies. And we're just hanging out. And it's like kind of, even though the party's packed, it's like a chill little balcony. And we're all just hanging out. We're talking. We talk up there for an hour or 2. That became the party.
Yeah.
After a while, we tell this guy, hey, it was nice to meet you. See you later. We got to run. And we're in an Uber heading out with the kid from Atlanta and just my other couple buddies and I, the 4 of us. And as we're driving over, we're like, wow, what a cool party. That was awesome, this and that. And then, one of us was like, man, it would have been cool if T-Pain showed up. That would have made it just that much cooler, but whatever, it's still a good night. And the kid from the show Atlanta, he's in the passenger seat up front. He turns on, he goes, do you not know what T-Pain looks like? And we're like, I don't know. We're all a little hammered. What do you mean? They go, you don't know that you just hung out with him on that balcony for the last 2 hours while he poured you drinks from a brown paper bag? You don't know?
The same dude.
Dude, T-Pain, we're chilling with T-Pain. This dude, we're with him. We're with him. That's why the balcony is so quiet, because he didn't want to be around the party club. People would go nuts to see him there. We're sitting on the ground. We're sitting on the floor. There's not even furniture up there because it was like a seasonal rental, and there's like a hot tub that's not turned on. We're just sitting on like a stair. Like there's one little step on this balcony. My buddy sitting next to T-Pain, not knowing who he is, after a while has normal conversation. He goes, hey man, so what do you do? And T-Pain's like, I make music. But he's like, oh, cool, right on. Yeah, I'm a producer and blah, blah, blah. And just when, like, he had no idea, because everyone in LA is trying to do something. Everybody's on the, they kind of chip away. Like you might make music, but you also work at Best Buy. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this dude probably just had to be like, you've got to be kidding me. You just asked me what you don't know who I am. And so probably enjoyed the laugh of seeing us morons hang with him, having no idea who he was.
Would it have been different?
Go so far as to ask him what he does.
Would it have been different if you knew that it was him while you were hanging out with him?
I mean, I would have been Googling some of the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's cool though. You got to be you got to be part of the incognito group that he rolled with at the party because he didn't want to be
I think
front and center.
Yeah.
So you were part of the clique, baby. That's cool, man.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't realize some of those other.
Yeah.
I said the dopest part of that story is that he has all the monies in the world and he brown paper bagged it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The same thing.
That's the dopest part about it is like you just never forget where you came from.
And that brings the kind of everything full circle from the rich to the poor. Like no matter how high you
don't ever forget where you came from.
No, don't ever forget where you came from, man. I know one thing, no matter how big, small, whatever I get, I'm not changing the things I like, the things I do, and who I am at the end of the day.
That's the dopest
and
part
how cool you are to other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this dude is a straight up guy because he didn't care that we were not part of his party from the beginning of the night.
Yeah.
He just knew his buddy said we were cool. So he treated us like we were cool. We were cool to him.
That's what's up.
And we had a great time for hours. Dude, he poured us. He had a full bar in that bag. He had Tropicana orange juice. You know what I mean? He had Ocean Spray cranberry. This dude's over here cracking screwdrivers.
This is like going golf. You ever go golfing with me, man? I have like literally I'm not that good at golf, but I have an entire bar set up. When you come, and you can ask Maurice in the studio. He'll tell you. I mean, it's like. Yeah, we're going to have a good time. I got the Bose system in the back.
That's how I golf.
Full bar. I heard your stories about how you golf. We're not going to tell those on the show right now.
No, not today.
But yeah, we don't have enough time. I wish we did have more time to talk to you, and I know that you're going to be probably on a lot more as our resident comedian from time to time. We really enjoy it.
Here and there, whenever you want.
Yeah, man, we enjoy you, man. We really do. We can listen.
Appreciate you.
We can listen to these stories all day long. We really have to run, but that's kind of the situation we're in right now. But Paul, thanks again, as always.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
We'll see you guys next time on Prop Culture.
Yeah, we're out.